are not the type of players that you want on your fantasy team. I don't think this team is going to be that bad. I think they're going to be hovering around 500 or better. That's how I feel about this team. I don't favor this team over any other team. That's how I see it. So when I talk about this second-year player, running back, who in his first season was marred by injury with a sprained MCL in his final college game that kept him sidelined for much of last offseason, and he re-injured that knee in the preseason opener and then hurt his hamstring late in August. He missed the first 2 games of the season, played in the next 7, and then missed the next 7 with an ankle injury. He only wound up with 41 carries and 11 targets across the last 8 games. He saved his best for last, though. With Alvin Kamara sidelined for the season finale, Kendre Miller split work with Jamal Williams, taking 13 carries for 73 yards. For those who don't know the math, that's 5.6 yards per carry, and a score against the Falcons team that finished 11th in run defense. Miller's 81.1 Pro Football Focus rushing grade ranked 4th among running backs in Week 18, just ahead of Joe Mixon, Breece Hall, and Derrick. Now, consider it's a reminder of this guy's talent. He played 9 games in 2020, had 388 total yards. 2021, this is at TCU, had 10 games played, 83 of 623 yards. Those post average per carry were over 7 yards. His last year at TCU, he had 14 games, 224 yards, 1,399 yards, 224 attempts, and 1,399 yards at 6.2 yards per clip. All right. This is what he has. He's got a declining competition and creates opportunities. Okay. Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams remain under contract for the 2024 season. Kamara will be 29 in July. And although he has remained effective as a pass catcher, he's clearly declined as a runner. Kamara averages 3.9 yards per carry last year, finishing with career lows in both missed tackles, forced attempt, and yards after contact per attempt. Williams was simply one of the worst runners in the NFL last year. Among 49 running backs with 90-plus carries, he ranked 48th in yards per carry, 49th in NFL Next Gen Stats rush yards over expected per attempt, 48th in yards after contact per attempt, 48th in PFF elusive rating, and 49th in PFF rushing grade. This backfield is ripe with opportunity for explosive, fresh-leg Miller. The fact that the Saints are breaking in a new offense under offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak only helps Miller's chances of winning a much bigger role this year. His ceiling is 237 PPR points, which would have landed him inside the top 12 running backs last season. Mr. FSP, what's your thoughts on Mr. Kendre Miller, New Orleans Saints?
Well, you're using Pro Football Focus for your stats and your information. Good site, decent evaluators. Miller is their actual future, to be honest. But when you have 3 backs in the backfield, you don't have a back. I don't care how much they're paying Alvin Kamara. his legal issues kept him away and in the doghouse. Uh, with that behind him, I'm not sure what his value to this team will be with Miller, who stepped in and became the lead dog because Jamal Williams wasn't given as many touches as Miller was, while Kamara was out. Uh, the thing is this: Miller came into the league um, as one of the better running backs in that college draft. It was unfortunate that he went to the Saints because of Alvin Kamara. Um, Now, Alvin Kamara was out. Miller didn't get that much shine because they used their tight end to run the ball, especially in the red zone or within the 5 yard line to get the touchdowns. Um, I'm not sure what to think of Mr. Miller because Alvin still has maybe one or two solid productive years under his belt. Jamal got paid, uh, and people didn't know why he didn't get the rock that much, especially when he was supposed to be the number two guy when they signed him. That speaks to Miller's ability. Will Dennis Allen utilize him more? Clint Kubiak, son of Gary Kubiak, who was on the Shanahan tree, loves to use multiple running backs, but they also like to use the hot hand. I'm not sure if Miller's going to get that opportunity because Alvin Kamara is still the dude in New Orleans. It's There's potential there, but it's going to require Alvin Kamara to miss a lot of time. That's why I'm the master and Mr. FSP to you.
Uh, you know, you ain't gonna go there. But whatever. Anyway,
Ah,
this other running back I'm gonna talk about. I'm not just gonna be talking about running backs. I'll be getting wide receivers after I get to running back. But the reason I wanted one of the things I wanted to point out is this: the Chargers selected Kamani Vidal in the 6th round of the draft. He was the 16th round running back off the board. Okay. Chargers have a new coaching staff, Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. Both guys have a long history of run heavy offenses. Okay. That includes a stint in San Francisco and Greg Roman also in the Baltimore Ravens. They also have two veterans with sketchy health history. Okay. One ain't Gus Edwards, and the other one who's only had uh, 9 games in the last, 2 or 3 seasons, in J.K. Dobbins, who someone just, the master, talked about yesterday. He's only had 9 games over the last 3 seasons, and he's working his way back from a torn Achilles. Really? Now he had a devastating knee injury, and how'd that work out? That's why he's in Baltimore, and now he has a torn Achilles. He's coming back. Uh, a devastating ACL and multiple ligament injury in one of his knees, and now he's got to deal with a torn Achilles. Don't expect J.K. Dobbins to come back to what he was when he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And with a torn Achilles, there's only one back ever in the history of the NFL that came back and was relevant after he came back from the torn Achilles. And he was somewhat relevant. And he's a third he's a third back on the Cleveland Browns team. That's Deontay Foreman.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's Deontay Foreman. That's a fact.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa, whoa, whoa. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. There's no other. There's no. Look, don't interrupt me, please.
No, okay, but it's not true. That's go ahead.
Well, you can
Go
wait,
ahead.
and then if you want to dispute it, you can dispute
Oh,
it.
I'm
Okay.
going to. I'm
Okay.
going to.
The only back that's been relevant coming back from a torn Achilles, it has been Deontay Foreman. That's the only back. That's a fact, people.
No,
Look at the backs that have had torn Achilles. I'm not talking about ACLs. I'm talking about torn Achilles, and or have been somewhat relevant. Deontay Foreman had a good season in Carolina. Um, he had a good season, decent season in Chicago. Now he's in a battle for playing time with the Cleveland Browns. Okay, and it took him a while to come back from that torn Achilles. That is not an easy injury for a running back, much less J.K. Dobbins having issues with his ACL and multiple ligaments in the knee, and then having a Achilles. He's not going to be what you think J.K. Dobbins was coming out of college. Let me put it that way. He'll be a shell of himself. That's the point I'm trying to make. He's going to be a shell of himself, and most running backs that have a torn Achilles are not the same. Okay, are not the same. Okay, so Kamani Vidal is a great late round pickup with Gus Edwards, who's not a pass catcher per se, and they're definitely going to be passing the football to the excuse me, to the running back in this offense. True, they have limited wide receivers, and I'm talking about the wide receivers. They have Quentin Johnson, who's a last year version of Keon Coleman. He's the type of wide receiver that cannot get open. And he had definite issues about being able to get open to get the ball from Justin Herbert. You got Lad McConkey, who may be probably one of the better receivers on the Chargers. And then you have Josh Palmer. Yes, people. Josh Palmer. Okay. Who was the third leg of wide receivers last season and filled in when Mike Williams got shut down, who is familiar with the Justin Herbert and vice versa. Justin Herbert is familiar with him. Okay. So some people are touting Lad McConkey. Okay. I'm going to go the Josh Palmer route because I do believe, because of that rapport, that Justin Herbert is going to go look a lot in the direction of Josh Palmer. Okay. So, Mr. FSP, what is your thoughts?
Well, let's keep it a buck, as the kids say. Uh, your fact is fiction. Let me start there first. Arian Foster was a way better back than Deontay Foreman after his Achilles tear. He only stopped playing football because he decided to stop playing football. He was still a top running back after his Achilles tear.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack, and Arian Foster was a top running back, not just an okay running back like
Not
that.
after he got
Yes,
hurt.
excuse me. Remember, you did it to me, so I'm gonna do it to you. Stop it. Let me finish. A kid, Arian Foster, after his Achilles injury, still ran for over 1,000 yards. Fact. Yeah, you can't deny the numbers unless you just want to make up your own numbers and make fake news. Cool. Marlon Mack is probably the equal to Dante Foreman because Marlon Mack is a very good back, but he's not a feature back. Cam Akers, after his tear, he was the lead back and still a very good back for the Rams.
No, you're wrong there.
What got
You're
him
wrong
out of the Rams was his attitude because they went out and he thought he was the stuff and they brought other people in and he still thought he was the stuff. Now, he didn't get over 1,000 yards when he came back, but he was so efficient that he became the starter for I believe it was 5-6 games after the fact, and then it became he's not good in the locker room type person. Whatever. That's
no,
the
no,
first thing.
you're wrong there. Cam Akers.
Oh
Cam
my
Akers.
gosh. I'm
Cam
not wrong,
Akers.
and I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I mean, you told me to let you do your thing. Let me do my thing, right?
What this is? Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No,
Wait a minute.
no, because
I'm
you
gonna
were
right now.
wrong,
This is
and
my
I
show.
said you were
This is
wrong.
my show. If I want to cut you off, I'm gonna cut you off.
Oh, okay.
If this is my show, if I
Okay.
want to cut you off, I'm gonna cut you off. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm gonna
Okay,
cut you off.
Donald.
Okay.
All right, Donald.
Okay. I'll be all that and then some. But if I
But
want
you're
to cut you
wrong.
off, I'll cut you off.
But you're wrong, though. That's the thing. I'm trying to.
What I'm trying to explain to you, dude. And if you had listened
Because
to
you
what I
compared
said,
Dante Foreman, use
if I,
Dante Foreman.
when I listen to what I'm just said. Listen to what I said. I don't think you listened. I said they weren't relevant. And
Except
you want to know,
Dante
wait a
Foreman.
minute. And at the time, I'm gonna tell you this. At the time, Arian Foster was my favorite back. You know, I turned a lot of people on to Arian Foster. So when you go that route, you want to go that route, that's fine. I
This
turned a
dude.
lot of people. I turned a lot of people onto Arian Foster. I brought him up a long time ago, and people poo-pooed me until he broke out. Okay. So let me talk about Arian Foster
Well,
because
I
I
didn't
know
finish my
very well
statement.
about Arian Foster
I
because
didn't
I
finish
was
my
at the
statement.
time I was a Houston Texans fan. Aaron Foster was not the same back after he came back. Arian Foster decided
Oh
to
my
quit.
gosh.
Arian Foster decided to quit because he realized he wasn't the same back after his injury. That's why he
Oh my god.
decided to quit.
What did he do, Jerry? He became a vegan and he stopped
I don't
being the
care.
power.
I'm talking
Wait a
about
minute. Wait a
I'm
minute.
talking
Wait
about
a minute.
production
I
on
know
the
what you're
field.
talking about.
I'm
I know
talking
what
about
you're talking
production
about.
on the field.
But what
Arian
I was
Foster
trying to get
couldn't do what he
across,
wanted to do
what I'm
on the
trying to get across is when you compare
Cam Akers.
Dante Foreman, you said Dante Foreman was the only back to
I said
have any
you
substance
didn't listen.
after.
I said he was the only
Oh
relevant
my
back.
god!
I said
Exactly.
he was the
That's
only
what I'm saying.
relevant back, and that's a
Exactly.
fact.
And I'm trying to tell you that is not accurate.
That is
That's
accurate because
that is not accurate.
Cam Akers,
Oh
Cam,
my
Cam
god.
Akers when he went to Minnesota.
Marlon Mack. I gave you a list.
Marlon Mack, come on,
Marlon
man.
Mack.
Marlon Mack was middle of the road back.
Marlon
Come on.
Mack
Marlon Mack was
became
hot garbage. Come on, man.
no, he was last year.
Oh my
Last
God,
year,
Marlon Mack.
Jerry,
Here we go.
Jerry,
We're reaching.
where
We're reaching. Marlon Mack was
I'm trying to
nobody.
help you. I'm trying
Marlon
to
Mack
help you
was
because
nobody. Was
Marlon Mack
nobody.
led the chart. I mean, not the Chargers. He led the daggone Colts in rushing to the fact and to the point where they tried to work in, or they had to work in Jonathan Taylor last year at the end of the year, and Marlon Mack still got touches because
Marlon
he
Mack
did such a
was
great job.
was a
Again,
middle
you
of
were
the road
not
back.
Dante
Middle of the road
Foreman
back. Come on, man.
is not
You're reaching.
Jerry.
Marlon Mack was a middle of the road back. Come on.
And you're saying Dante Foreman is not. You're
What?
saying Dante Foreman is better than that?
Dante
Foreman is not
Foreman.
better than that.
Dante
And he was
Foreman.
not better than Arian Foster.
Wait a minute. What I'm talking about is Arian Foster quit because he knew he couldn't do the things he wanted to do on the field because of his
Jerry,
injury.
Jerry, that's not what you said about the back. What you said was
I said they weren't
Dante
relevant.
Foreman was the only notable back after tearing Achilles.
They weren't relevant.
My God!
You're taking everything I just said and twisting it. What I
No,
said,
I'm not. No, I'm not.
What I said was this. I
Go
said
right ahead.
what I said was this. Once they had an Achilles, they did not become relevant. That's what I said.
You said
Exactly.
Dante Foreman was the only back to come back from an Achilles tear and have, I don't know if you use the word notable or relevant. And I'm telling you that is not true. That is not true.
Okay.
Because it did. Marlon Mack was relevant. Arian Foster was relevant.
Okay.
Cam Akers was relevant for a couple games, but he was relevant. That's my point.
Couple games? And you tell me
that's Marlon Mack.
Oh, come on,
Dante
man.
Foreman. Okay, did Dante Foreman dominate the entire year? No. He did not. Dante Foreman.
Wait a minute.
Dante Foreman had like 5 or 6 games.
School you, young man. I'm gonna school
5
you,
or 6 games where he was relevant.
The only reason Deontay Foreman didn't dominate the whole year is because Christian McCaffrey was traded in the season to San Francisco 49ers, and then Deontay Foreman took over that backfield.
No, Dante Foreman did not. That's a fact. He did not. Well, you know what Dante Foreman did? Dante Foreman ran in the end zone. He was the 20 to 20 guy.
Okay.
And who took the job? Who took the job? And still in Carolina, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard took that job.
Are you kidding me?
No,
oh
guy.
My God. Really?
So Miles Sanders was brought in there. Miles Sanders was brought in there, and Dante Foreman was the only person.
We're spending too much time here.
I mean, when I'm trying to explain it, I was just getting my point out, and you kept cutting me off. I was going to be quick.
We're going to move on. Let's move on to the next running back.
And Palmer is some garbage.
Okay. I tell you what.
And you said that yourself. You're having a change of heart. That's fine. But you said Palmer was garbage last year. I don't know what you've seen between last season, which ended in February, to now to change your mind. But you said yourself that he was hot garbage.
Where did you hear that?
You said it on my show. Oh, my God. Dude, you have said Palmer is garbage. He can't separate. He's a jump ball guy, along with another.
I never said that. Said that.
Okay, Jerry.
I never said that.
Okay, Jerry.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. Last year, yes, you did. You did.
Find the tape.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, trust me. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it.
But I know I never said Josh Palmer was a jump ball guy.
Listen, just like Joe says he's winning in the polls. It must be that thing there. It's gotta be.
Anyway, and let's move on to another. Now we'll move on to and this is this. I have reservations about this because I'm not a big fan of this running back, but he has the potential to become a sleeper. Okay, going to a new team because the original running back for this team has moved on. Going to this team, it's a good spot for a running back fantasy production with a healthy Joe Burrow. In 16 seasons, Bengals running backs combined to rank 14th and 6th in total PPR points. Joe Mixon, of course, accounted for most of those points. He finished 4th amongst running backs in PPR points in 2021, 11th in 2022, and 6th even last year, despite Burrow missing 7 games. Mixon did that in spite of middling play. Okay. Is Zach Moss an upgrade over Joe Mixon? Moss trailed Mixon in PFF rush grade each of the past 3 years, but he beat Mixon in rush yards over expected per attempt in both of the last 2. In fact, Moss ranked 5th among 51 qualifying running backs in attempts last year. That was part of a career best season for Moss, who was impressive as a close lead back in 6 games with a snap rate north of 50%. He averaged 20.2 carries, 87 yards, which is 4.3 yards per carry, and 0.5 touchdowns. His 16.4 PPR points per game in those 6 outings would have ranked 7th among running backs on the season. don't expect that type of volume from Morris this season, or even as much work as Mixon got the past 2 years. But if Morris can beat or even just match Mixon in per touch production, he shouldn't have any trouble paying off his 8th round ADP. Now, what about Chase Brown? Brown flashed his big playability a few times as a rookie last year. There were runs of 27 and 31 yards plus a 54-yard receiving score. And that's what Brown exceeds in. He exceeds in runs after the catch. Brown finished with a 4.1 yards per carry, though, and his 34.1 rushing success rate ranked dead last among 77 qualifying running backs. He's a boom or bust runner at this point of his career and seems best suited for a secondary role. This Bengals backfield is a fluid situation, so Brown is fine to take some shots on in fantasy drafts, but Moss looks like the better bet for touches and fantasy points. Mr. FSP, talk to me about Mr. Zach Moss, one of your favorite running backs.
Exactly. I like Zach Moss when he was in Buffalo. You did not. You didn't think he was a good player. Your words, not mine.
Yes,
You said he was just a plotter, and I'm telling you, he's more than a plotter. But I will also say he proved that he was a damn good back. Same situation as Marlon Mack in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor, who was the big paid back. Zach Moss had to feed him, and they had to let him share some time, even when Jonathan Taylor got back. The kid can catch the ball. He can run the ball. Is he a household name? No. Does he have a chance to be a sleeper in Cincinnati? No. The reason why I say that is because the offensive line is not as good as it was in Indianapolis running the ball, period. Joe Mixon made a lot of those things happen himself. That's why Joe Mixon had better numbers, not because of the line play. Mixon had to routinely break a tackle in the backfield and or hit the outside a lot quicker. Moss is not that fast guy. He's not going to hit the outside quicker. He'll break a tackle or two, but it's not. He does not have the skill level of Joe Mixon. The young kid Brown. He has an opportunity here to be more than just a third down back, because that's what he is right now, a third down back. Moss is the guy you get in fantasy after the 1, 2, and 3 tier running backs are gone. That's when you get Moss. 8th round is about right. It's about right. Maybe even 9th round, because that's when you hit your 4th tier running backs. I don't consider that. I mean, you consider a sleeper. I don't. I say it's a guy that's you got to get because you went wide receiver or whatever heavy, and you're left with what's left as a starter, who might not even be the full-time starter. I think Brown is going to push him for the timeshare, because it's going to be a timeshare.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about another one. I don't know if it's a sleeper or not.
This is a
But
show about sleepers, so why wouldn't it be a sleeper?
like I said, let's talk about another player that on the same team, on the same team, uh, about 6'2", 190 pounds, wide receiver, takes the place of Tyler Boyd on the pass-happy offense. May have some character issues. That's why supposedly he dropped. Ran a 4.45 40 in the combine. 22 years old. Talking about Jermaine Burton. This kid, let me tell you, people, in your dynasty league, in your keeper league, He's going to be taken late. He's going to be probably the only ones that are going to draft this kid are Bengals or know anything about this kid. This kid, because of character issues, was drafted uh, later in the draft, but should have been mentioned with some of the best wide receivers in this class. Jermaine Burton, people, is a very good wide receiver. In keeper and dynasty, T. Higgins is not going to be with the Bengals next season. This is your future number 2 wide receiver. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people don't know about Jermaine Burton. I'm telling you about him now. Mr. FSP, Mr. Jermaine Burton.
I will say that Joe Burrow likes throwing to the slot guy. The problem is this: you still got Higgins and Chase on the outside. So this person, if you're going to draft them, like you said, in a dynasty or in a keeper league, make him your last pick. Make him your last pick because, yes, next year, if he shows enough this year, he'll be your number 2. But, that's a chance you take. Look at what Tyler Boyd did off of 30, 40 catches on a season as a veteran. Okay. Not spectacular numbers, but his reputation and when he was a starter got him the status that he is in the NFL now. That's why he can go to the Tennessee Titans and be their number 4 receiver. He knows the system and he's still got some juice. But you got a rookie, just because he has intangibles and a red flag history, I don't. You might be right on people that are going to draft him or people that are Bengals fans, but I don't consider that to be a sleeper. I need a sleeper to be somebody that's going to have an impact and people don't expect it. I mean, that's a futures pick. I really don't see him doing much unless Higgins gets hurt or Chase gets hurt. I mean, I'll be honest. He might get 30 balls just like Tyler Boyd did, but as a rookie, I don't know if he's going to do what Tyler did as a vet.
Well, let me just say this. I'll make this statement. This wide receiver is better than Tyler Boyd. I'm making that statement. This wide receiver has got more ability than Tyler Boyd. I've watched film on this kid. I've watched Joe Burrow take this kid under his wing and work with this kid. That tells me Joe Burrow sees something in this kid. And people, you can draft him if he's there in the last round. I guarantee you, people are gaining knowledge about Jermaine Burton in his pass-friendly offense. He probably won't be there the last round or the next to the last round. I'm telling you. Remember when I told you this? July 20th, 2024. Okay?
21st. Yesterday was the 20th.
Okay, July 21st, 2024. You know what I'm talking about. It doesn't make a difference what date it is. In July of 2024.
If you're going to quote the day, come on now.
July 20th, 2024.
21st.
July 2024.
Okay. 2024. Okay.
Anyway, Jermaine Burton is going to be a wide receiver, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's written in stone, but in my opinion, he's going to be a wide receiver that you want to have. Okay? I'll put it this way. In a PPR in PPR league, if you acquire Joe Burrow as one of your quarterbacks, you should. If you miss out on T. Higgins, you miss out on Jermaine Chase, you grab Jermaine Burton.
Jamar Chase. He said Jermaine.
Jamar Jamar Chase. If you acquire Chase or Higgins, you miss out on them. You can't get it for whatever reason. Your last resort is Jermaine Burton. If you have Joe Burrow, you want to stack a wide receiver with him, put him in the flex. He's going to be a reliable flex, in my opinion. He's going to be a reliable flex player on your roster. All right, let's move on to another wide receiver, and we're going to the Green Bay Packers. And we're going to, I know this may be a reach for some people. He came out of nowhere as a fifth-round rookie. He got playing time right away thanks to an injury to Christian Watson. His 60% week one playing time actually led Packer wide receivers. He checked in third in week 2 and tied for second in week 3 and third in week 4 before giving way to Christian Watson. I'm talking about the rookie played nearly exactly the same role as Watson, spending 35% of his pass snaps in the slot. That helps explain why Watson's availability affected Rich's role more than those other wide receiver teammates. Dontavian Wicks rated well by advanced metrics for the year. His 1.94 route yards per route ranked 27th among 96 wide receivers who drew 40-plus targets. His rate of targets per route, which was 19.6, beat Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, though it trailed Reed and 3 other wide receiver teammates. Now, what do you expect from 2024? The Green Bay Packers have a crowded wide receiver core, and that challenges the fantasy projection and upside for all of its members. Wicks wound up third among the group in playing time as a rookie, well behind Romeo Doubs and definitely behind Jaden Reed. Watson led the group in snap shares across healthy games. That's the biggest challenge and the question for Dontavian Wicks. His performance as a rookie says he probably deserves more playing time going forward, but Doubs and Watson headed to just their third season, having drawn plenty of praise and delivered solid to good production. Reed's coming off a strong debut campaign also. Now, the question is, will Matt LaFleur elevate Dontavian Wicks beyond any of those guys in the depth chart? Will Watson finally stay healthy? Will anyone else get hurt? I'm putting Dontavian Wicks as a sleeper for this year. What's your thought, Mr. FSP?
Um, I'll say this is probably the only real sleeper that you got, but he's not really a sleeper because when Dobbs was down and Watson was down, Wicks became the favorite target of Love. I mean, I don't know how that's a sleeper when he's a known product. Um, he could surpass Watson or Dobbs as the lead receiver. To be honest, Watson can't stay healthy. That's his only problem. He can't stay healthy. Kid has everything else but health. Um, but Wicks is a very, very good receiver. Um, he's one of those gems that Green Bay found in the later rounds. So, I mean, he's somebody I would target. Even, I mean, he, like you said about the other kid for Cincinnati, he's the guy I would get and put in the slot on the third receiver position. If I don't have two number ones, I mean, if I have two number ones already, and I have to start a third wide receiver, because by that time all the stud wide receivers are gone, he would be a guy I would put at that third wide receiver spot because he'll be productive. He would be productive because Jordan Love likes throwing the ball to him.
All right, people. It's 11 o'clock. My time is done here. Mr. FSP, I want to thank you for joining me. What are we going to be running to next Saturday, 10 a.m. Well, excuse me, next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The FSP show. Hello? Mr. FSP.
I'm here. I'm here. I thought you were still talking.
I just said, what are we going to run to 1 p.m. Eastern
Oh,
Standard
oh,
Time
I
on the
thought.
FSP show?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the what part. I thought you was just saying it was the FSP show on Saturday.
No.
So on this upcoming Saturday, we're going to close out our divisional breakdown of the NFC North and the AFC North. We're going to discuss, hopefully, pros and cons of the two divisions, as one's on the rise and one is, in my opinion, the best division in football right now. But somebody's got to finish last in each one. So we'll talk about that. We'll tee you up for the Hall of Fame game now that Caleb Williams signed his contract, and we'll talk about the interesting ways he tried to manipulate the system to get that contract done, and prep you for the IDPs coming in August. Individual defensive players. That's what's happening on Fantasy Sports and Politics on next Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, where the host with the most is me. It's me, Mr. FSP, and my co-host, JT.
Peace, people. See ya.